Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I just recently uploaded a video about some tips and tricks all around Animal Crossing New Horizons, just a few things that I wish I would have known sooner. And I've been kind of thinking that it would be nice to have an entire series of videos that explain a few more basic things, such as basic gameplay mechanics, some basic decorating or landscaping things, and also what we're going to be doing today, which is a full guide to 3 stars. A big shout out to Chrissy, aka ACNH.Kara_Suno, because Chrissy is not only one of the most talented people when it comes to Animal Crossing New Horizons, but also has made an incredible guide to 3 stars that we've been using in our Discord server for a while. And I asked her and she said yes to me turning that into a video. So I will give you a full-on breakdown today of what you can do each day when you start the game for the first time. I'll give you a full-on guide of how you can get the 3 stars and everything in between. So I would say without further ado, because there's quite a lot to talk about, let's go ahead and get right into it. When you first start the game, we'll actually refer to this as day 0. You will be required to put in your name and your birthday. You can customize your character, you can choose a hemisphere, and you can also choose one of the 4 maps. And afterwards, it's time to fly to your island. Here you can discover your native fruit and also meet your first 2 villagers that are always going to be a Jock and a Sisterly. Once you've landed, go to the plaza for the opening ceremony and talk to Nook. After that, you can either talk to Timmy or Tommy and get your own tent that you can proceed to place down wherever you like. Also go ahead and talk to your villagers for the first time and either tell them that their spot is great or also choose a place for their tent. Go back to the plaza and talk to Tom Nook. He will ask you to collect 10 tree branches, which by the way, you can shake one tree more than once to get multiple tree branches. At this point, also already collect the 6 pieces of fruit because he will actually take all of the collected stuff at once when you talk to him. Handing these things over will result in the campfire celebration, which is where you will name your island. After you've done that, you can go and enjoy the celebrations, or you can talk to Nook and he'll hand you a camping cot with which you can go to bed, and during your sleep, KK will serenade you. Day 1. You get woken up by Tom Nook shouting your name. This is where he will hand you your phone. I would recommend to activate Island Life 101 because it's filled with useful tips, and this is also where you will get your itemized bill that you have to pay off with 5,000 miles. After that, the game will be in real time. You also get a letter from Nintendo containing a DIY for a DIY workbench. After that, go ahead and collect 10 branches and then go to Resident Services and talk to Nook. He'll tell you about a DIY workshop, so I would recommend talk to him again, do the workshop, and then craft the fishing rod. After you have done that, he will give you some more DIY recipes, and I would recommend to also go ahead and craft a net. While you're in Resident Services, you can also learn about the recycle box and get any items that it might contain, and you can also learn about the Nook Stop and collect 50 miles in return for that. Another thing that you should do on this day is talk to both of your villagers. Your Jock will actually give you a hat, and your Sisterly villager will give you a DIY for a leaf umbrella. And then you should focus on collecting Nook Miles on that first day to be able to pay off your 5,000 Nook Mile debt. Here's everything that I did to pay off my first debt. A list for you to screenshot will follow after my explanations. I got 500 basic miles for the island, then I collected 50 by learning about the Nook Stop. I earned another 300 by taking a picture. Editing my passport title also gave me 300, and another 300 were earned by writing something on the bulletin board. Then I made a beautiful custom design giving me 500 points in return. Talking to both of my villagers that day also gave me 300 more miles. Apparently I also used my Nook phone a bunch, which earned me another 300 miles. I then proceeded to put a bunch of stuff in my tent, giving me 300 and then even 1,000 miles for that. A little tip on the side, your tools as well as your clothing also count as furniture items, so that should be relatively easy to reach. I used the same trick to also put 10 items outside, giving me another 300 miles. I then went ahead and caught 10 bugs. They don't all need to be different, but just 10 in total, which also gave me 300 miles, and in turn trashed one of my tools, which gave me another 300 miles. I then went ahead and plucked a bunch of weeds, and by selling 200 in total, I got 300 plus 500 Nook Miles. I also went ahead and sold 20 of my fruit, giving me another 300, and just because I went ahead and sold something, I got another 300 Nook Miles in return, bringing me to a total of 6,150 Nook Miles, which allowed me to comfortably pay off my first debt. And here's that list of everything that you can do to pay off your first debt to screenshot. After collecting all those miles, I had also earned a little bit of money and purchased the DIY for beginners as well as the slingshot recipe from Timmy. After that, go ahead and give 5 different critters to Tom. This can be either bugs or fish. In return, one by one, Tom will give you the Critterpedia app, some more tool DIY recipes, as well as some flowers. And after you've donated the 5 critters, Nook will then talk to Blathers on the phone and proceed to give you a museum tent plot. Go outside, place it anywhere you like, and then go back and talk to Tom Nook. On this day, I would also recommend to craft a few axes and then go ahead and chop some wood, as well as hit your rocks, because you'll need all kinds of materials in the next following days, especially all the types of wood as well as iron. If you get stung by wasps twice in the process, don't worry, because if you pass out, you get some more miles, and then you can also go ahead and talk to your villagers, and one of them will give you the recipe for medicine. Day 2. On this day, the airport will open for business. Go ahead to Resident Services, and Tom Nook and Timmy will be talking about opening a shop. If you paid off your house the previous day and also placed your museum tent, Nook will additionally give you a Nook Mile ticket. Go ahead and talk to Blathers. He will give you the recipe for a vaulting pole as well as a flimsy shovel. Go ahead and craft the vaulting pole. With this one, you can now also jump to the other side of the river and collect a bunch more materials. You will need a total of 30 of each of the types of wood and 30 iron nuggets in order to be able to build the shop. My recommendation is to dig 2 holes behind the rocks and then stand in between them, and if you then repeatedly hit A with the shovel in your hand, you can get up to all the 8 materials. With the Nook Mile ticket, this is also the day when you can villager hunt for your first 3 villagers if you want to, and half the tickets. You can hunt for all of them in one day, there is no need to skip, and on this hunt you can only find normal, peppy, or lazy villagers. In my case, I only used the 1 ticket to go to a mystery island and get a bunch of materials from the rocks, and also something I always recommend is to equip yourself with a net, stand in front of trees and shake them, because usually mystery islands have at least 1 piece of furniture that you can put up on your island and 1 wasp that you can sell for money. Once you've collected all the needed material, go ahead and talk to Timmy and give him all the required stuff. Then go ahead and mark off the plot for the shop and go back and talk to Timmy. On this day, you can also go ahead and donate 15 items to Blathers, which will make the tent upgrade to a building. He will not accept sea creatures or art or statues at this point, and as a little side note, this is actually not needed in order to reach 3 or even 5 stars. Day 3. If you donated things to Blathers the day before, the museum will be under construction this day. If you gave the materials to Timmy, the shop was built overnight, and Nook gets interrupted during the morning announcement because of some interested parties. Go ahead to Resident Services and he will tell you more about the phone call. Talk to him again and ask him what you can do that day, and he will ask you to craft a bridge. For this one, you will need a total of 12 wood that you will need to craft 4 log stakes with, as well as 4 clay and 4 stone. Craft that bridge, place it down somewhere, and then talk to him again. He will proceed to hand you 3 plots. Plot number 1 is for your lazy villager, plot number 2 for your peppy, and plot number 3 is for your normal villager. Go ahead and place these plots down, and beware that you need quite a bit of space for these. In the process, Nook will also tell you about some flowers in the back of your island and send you a ladder recipe that you can then go ahead and craft to be able to get to the flowers that you need for some of the recipes. On this day, you can focus on crafting all the needed items for the different plots. There's always interior as well as exterior items. You can put the interior ones into the box and the exterior ones you place right beside the plot, and go ahead and finish all of the plots. In this process, you might have to collect a bunch more materials. Go to Resident Services once you're finished and talk to Nook, and he will give you some fencing in return. Once you've talked to Nook, the plots will be sold, whether you hunted the day before and got your dreamies to move in or not. You can also go to the shop to meet Mabel, who will at some point build a tailor shop on your island. Day 4. The museum is finally finished. Also on this day, your first villager moves in. If you finished all the plots the day before, this will be your lazy villager. And on this day, you can also take a customization workshop. So go ahead, get 12 pieces of regular wood, and then talk to Nook about it, build a wardrobe, and then you can go ahead and customize that. Day 5. Once again, if you decided to finish all your plots at once, this is the day your peppy will move in. I can also recommend to use these days to collect more materials, clean up your island, place down some furniture, or also plant a few flowers. Day 6. Given you finished the plot the previous days, your normal villager will move in. Also, you'll get an announcement that Resident Services will be closed the next day. Day 7. Resident Services is under maintenance. Also during these days, different NPCs might show up, like Leaf or also Mabel. As far as I know, you have to buy something for 5,000 bells from her on 2 separate visits, and then she will want to build the tailor shop on your island, which, as a side note, also isn't technically required for the 3 stars, but it is something that you can do during those first few days. Day 8. Resident Services is finished and Isabel gets introduced. Go ahead and take 15 of each type of wood as well as 15 iron nuggets and go ahead to Resident Services. There, Nook will ask you to speak to him and he will tell you about Project K, which is to get KK Slider onto the island. Talk to him again and ask him what you can do, and he will send you the recipe for the campsite. With the wood and iron nuggets, go ahead and craft that one, and then go outside and place the campsite wherever you want, and then go back to Resident Services to tell Nook. Day 9. The campsite is finished. You can also use this day to plant more flowers and place more furniture. Day 10. Your first campsite visitor is here. This will always be a smug villager, and you have to invite this person in. So go ahead to the tent, talk to the villager, invite them in, then go to Resident Services to talk to Nook. He will give you a plot that you can then proceed to place down, and afterwards go ahead and talk to Nook again and let him know that the plot is placed. This is also the day when you can start buying additional plots. You will need a total of 8 villagers in order to be able to reach 3 stars, so you technically only need 2 more plots as of right now. If you want to go villager hunting, I recommend to only place 1 plot down and then go hunt for that villager and place the next plot the next day. In my situation, I just let them autofill, so I actually bought both of the plots on the same day and placed them down. Day 11, your campsite villager moves in, and you can also continue to go villager hunting after buying a plot from Tom Nook. Day 12, villager number 7 moves in. This can now be any type of personality. This is also the day when you will finally have the ability to ask for island evals, so go ahead to Resident Services and Nook will kind of tell you the entire thing and ask you to talk to him again, and once you do that, he will kind of explain the island evaluation system and tell you to talk to Isabel. You can then go ahead and do that. However, on this day you won't be able to reach 3 stars just yet because you do need the 8 villagers. Use this day to plant more flowers, put down fencing, and place a bunch of items. I will tell you the entire list that I put down on the next day. Day 13, villager number 8 moves in, and the big day is finally here. This day is the first opportunity for you to reach 3 stars. So go ahead and talk to Isabel about your current island evals, and she will actually give you very, very useful tips about what is still missing if you haven't quite reached the 3 stars. Different combinations of items and flowers, etc. are possible, but here are the things that I had placed down when I finally got my 3 stars. I had roughly planted 80 flowers in addition to the ones already in the back of my island, and I ended up using a Nook Mile ticket that the Happy Home Academy sent me to get a bunch more flowers from a mystery island. I also planted 20 shrubs that I got from Leaf. I put down 30 fences, and then I had a total of 24 catalog items as well as 23 crafted items, and I also had 11 bugs placed that I'm pretty sure also count as furniture. All of these things combined brought me to a 3-star rating, and once you talk to Isabel and get that rating, Nook will be over the moon happy and tell you about the plans, and then you're pretty much set. And last but not least, day 14. This is finally the day of the KK concert. Right from the announcement screen, it'll load into the concert and you can enjoy a few tunes. And then afterwards, Nook will talk to you and tell you about the Island Designer app. And from this, you can now go ahead and collect a bunch of miles and then unlock landscaping and pathing and waterscaping by purchasing the licenses from the Nook Stop and Resident Services. Other features unlocked by getting the 3 stars and having KK perform in your island include cooking, fence customizations, the boat tours with Captain as well as Brewster, and most of the new Miles items that you can also get in the Resident Services. And that's pretty much it. That's a full guide on how to get the 3 stars and how to play through those first few days and kind of beat the tutorial phase of Animal Crossing New Horizons. And now it's time to create an island that you absolutely love. Maybe select a theme if you want to, or just do whatever feels right and start decorating and forming this island into something that you as well as your villagers enjoy day by day. I really do hope that this was helpful. Another big thanks to Chrissy, of course. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss any future videos, and let me know any thoughts or anything that you want to add in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you have an awesome time until I see you in the next video. Bye everyone!